What is the one type of mask that kills more people than any of the others? And why do people keep on purchasing them? Let's dive in and find out. Ladies and gents, welcome back to Tampa Bay Diving. My name is Blake and I'm a professional recreational dive instructor and digital content creator. And I make these videos to help improve your dives. Every year, it seems like we're reading about more and more deaths that are occurring because people in the water are using these full-face snorkel masks. These exploded in popularity, and ever since, more and more people have been dying. So I thought I'd get one off of Amazon, where the majority of people shop, talk about what makes these so dangerous, the differences between it, a regular mask and snorkel, and a full-face dive mask, and then we'll put it to the test in the water. So stick around to the end so you don't miss any of the results. Right, so full-face snorkel masks are popular among tourists and swimmers because it lets them see the underwater world from the surface without having to hold a snorkel in their mouth, and because it's just one piece of gear. Now, the number one cause of death in tourists in Hawaii is drownings, and a good chunk of them involve a full-face snorkel mask. This issue isn't new, and it was thrust back into the spotlight last year when a couple who were on their baby moon were snorkeling using a full-face snorkel mask like this. They were in the water and drowned. Here they are celebrating what should be a joyous time for them when tragedy struck, all because of a mask like this. They already had a little boy who was a toddler age and were expecting a baby girl. And now 3 lives have been lost, and that little boy will grow up without his parents and his sister, all because of cheap knockoffs like this. And what do I mean by knockoffs? Well, there are reputable companies that specialize in making water sports gear who produce full-face snorkel masks, and those are generally more safer than what I have here. A big issue comes in when people start shopping for deals and come across these cheap knockoffs that use inferior quality material to cut costs and make the products as cheap as possible. And remember, dive and snorkel equipment is life-saving gear. You're depending on it to help you breathe while your head is underwater and for you to be able to use it and return safely. If that's the case, then is buying the cheapest product as possible a good idea just to save $20 to $30? So I went looking for one on Amazon just to show you guys, and I found this one for $26.99. And something I found kind of humorous and obvious was the warning on the page in red that said, "This is an item that has been frequently returned." My first thought was, no shit. But I'm not just gonna sit here and claim that these things are dangerous. We're gonna walk through and take a look at and discuss the components. Now, I would never put myself, my daughters, or any friend or loved one in a full-face snorkel mask. But if you absolutely have to get one for somebody, then later in the video, I'm gonna give you tips on what to look for the best options and safety. So to help illustrate the differences in the equipment, we've got my everyday mask and snorkel that I take on every dive, and my Kirby Morgan M48 Mod 1, which I use for public safety diving and training. The first problem with these masks are the seals. On a full-face snorkel mask, the seal has to cover a greater area of the face than your traditional mask and snorkel, which just covers your nose and your eyes. Now, because this mask is cheap and is from some unknown manufacturer, I don't know, can any of you read this and interpret it? They use plastic, PVC, and other cheaper materials in the products to keep the cost so low. The problem with using plastic or PVC versus silicone that is used in reputable masks is that PVC is rigid and not as flexible, and in return, it doesn't form as good of a seal. Several of the reviews for these masks stated severe issues with leaks, while some may point out that a regular dive mask may leak, but when it does, you can still breathe. The whole idea behind this full-face snorkeling mask is that you don't have to worry about holding the traditional snorkel and just being able to freely breathe in and out through your nose and mouth. But if the mask is leaking, then you're going to quickly find out that that's not an option. Now you can see here that this mask has a separated compartment for the nose and mouth in case of leaks to the eyes. But even those can't guarantee that they will remain leak-proof. There are 2 one-way mushroom valves, but just on examining them based on what I look at in traditional full-face masks, these seem to be made of quite very cheap material and the quality isn't good. And I don't believe that they'll hold up. Now my Kirby Morgan isn't a single piece full face mask, but it's got separated compartments. The eyepiece up here is one, and then down here by my mouth where the regulator is another. This is designed this way because the mask offers the ability for me to say if my reg were to fail or if I were to run out of air, then I can remove the pod, take the reg out, clip it off, and put a backup in, all without having to take off my mask. It's a pretty awesome feature. Now this is probably, in my best guess, the reason why so many people are dying while using these masks, and that is the large volume of dead space. So what do I mean by dead space? Well, that is specifically a volume of gas in a space that is not recycled with every breath of air. Basically, when you breathe out and then you breathe back in, you are breathing in that large portion of the same amount of gas back into your lungs. Now, a traditional snorkel has dead space. Your own body has dead air space, but these are relatively small and are not nearly as dangerous as the space in these type of masks. Even in a full face dive mask like this one, there is dead space, but that's not concerning because you're using a regulator to breathe, and when you breathe out, the gas is coming out of the reg and out to the surface, and you're breathing in air from your cylinder. The more reputable brands of full-face snorkel masks have installed quality one-way valves onto their snorkels so that when you breathe in, air is coming in one valve and it can't go out, and vice versa. A valve where you're breathing out and the air cannot come back in. A big reason that the cheaper ones are unsafe is because that they don't have that system in place, and when snorkelers are breathing in and out, allowing a buildup of carbon dioxide that the person is breathing back in. Now, why is that deadly? Well, that's because our bodies require a fresh supply of oxygen to keep our bodies and our internal organs functioning. When we breathe out, we are expelling carbon dioxide as a byproduct. Now, with every breath in these cheap masks without a quality valve system, that carbon dioxide will build up and you will eventually going to be breathing in more carbon dioxide than oxygen. That can lead to hyperventilation, organ shutting down, passing out, or shallow water blackout. And as I'm sure everyone will agree, blacking out underwater is not a good thing. The symptom of hyperventilation or heavy breathing, which makes that problem worse, causes panicking, and yes, both of these things are not good occurrences underwater as well. The strap system on these masks is very flimsy, cheap, lightweight, and the manufacturer suggests that to get a proper seal and prevent leaks, that you want the straps as tight as possible. The only problem with that is, as you can see, the design of the straps and buckles on it. If you have a problem breathing or hyperventilating underwater and you need to get this mask off in a hurry, then it's going to be quite difficult to do, and it's not designed to get off in a hurry. Now you can see on my full face dive mask that it looks very different. On any full face mask, you're going to want a snug fit, not tight, but snug. And the straps on these are very easy to loosen and get off because they have a quick release buckle mechanism where I can just flip the buckle and boom, the straps can be loosened relatively easily. And this isn't exclusive on Kirby Morgan. OTS makes some good quality masks as well, and they have the same quick release buckle mechanism as well. Now, we're about to get in the pool and test this mask out. I bought this cheap mask just to make this video, and it will be returned. No, I'm not daredevilish enough to take it out under the reef. It's going to be in the pool. But first, I'm going to give you tips if you absolutely have to buy one of these. Look for brands such as Cressy and Ocean Reef who specialize in making diving, snorkeling, and other water sports products. Don't purchase snorkel or dive gear from some unknown brand just because it's cheaper. It's not worth risking your life. Tip number 2. Most drownings in Hawaii that involve snorkelers are in shallow water, some in as little as 3 feet. But what does an unconscious snorkeler look like? Head down, face in the water, floating on the surface, the same as a conscious snorkeler. Guys, no one should ever be out there doing this on their own because in regards to oxygen deprivation, time is life. You can only be not breathing for so long before resuscitation is no longer an option. If you do have an emergency, then you can stand a much better chance of surviving it if you have a buddy next to you who can spot any emergency. Tip number 3. You should never be in the water doing any kind of activity like diving, snorkeling, wakeboarding, etc. without a PFD or personal flotation device. If you have any type of accident or are just suffering from exhaustion, then even the most experienced swimmer may find staying afloat to be a struggle. You should always have a PFD, preferably a Type 2 inflatable life jacket, or at the bare minimum, at least a wetsuit. It can go a long way in making sure that you survive and make it back home to your loved ones. Tip number 4. If you're going to be using a full face snorkel mask, then take it easy. Don't overexert yourself. You remember when we just talked about dead space and the buildup of carbon dioxide? If you're using one of these swimming too hard, then that is going to speed up the process and buildup of carbon dioxide and cause you to hyperventilate and potentially suffer from shallow water blackout. So get yourself a PFD and a quality pair of fins that fit properly and gently swim. This will greatly increase safety for your time in the water. If you're going to use these, then only use them in calm water. If there's a strong current or tides, then please wait till the conditions calm before going into the water. Tip number 5. Obviously, the longer you're wearing these masks, the longer you're exposed to higher levels of carbon dioxide. So try to go 15 minutes or less in these masks. And then you've got your PFD or your wetsuit on, sit up with your head out of the water, remove the mask, and breathe fresh air. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that headaches are another symptom of prolonged exposure to higher levels of carbon dioxide and less oxygen. That's why a lot of times you may see athletes breathing pure oxygen after overexerting themselves, and once they get enough oxygen back into their system, the headache fades. And if you're on vacation or just enjoying a beautiful weekend out on the water, you definitely don't want to be experiencing any pain. Incremental breaks from these will do your body's wonders, and they weren't designed to be used for hours at a time. Okay, we did about 12 minutes in this mask. Guys, this thing's horrible. It's absolute piece of trash. Please don't buy this. Just, it was so hard to breathe in these things. I don't understand why anybody would want these things. It's much easier to breathe out of a regular mask and snorkel, guys. I don't know why anybody would want these things. But definitely this mask is going to get returned. Just after 12 minutes or so, I'm literally out of breath, and I swim every week, 2 or 3 times a week, and I run a lot, and I am out of breath from using this thing. So this thing is dangerous. And yeah, and like I said about those mushroom valves, these aren't really valves. They're just cheap little piece of flimsy plastic. These things don't prevent anything. And some of you may say, well, Blake, how can you get a seal with a beard? Well, I get a seal with the Kirby Morgan all the time. Occasionally, sometimes I may have to trim it down. But with the Kirby Morgan, I can get a good seal even with this beard. With the OTS, it's a different thing. I have to be completely shaven. But with this thing, it wasn't leaking per se, just right there in the valves, but it was coming in a little bit on the sides, even up here where there is none. And some of the long hair could have played a part in it as well. The thing is, I'll say this: when you tighten it, it is very uncomfortable. It feels like you're strangling, and that's why I don't like wearing a hood with my full face mask, because I feel like I'm being strangled by my head. So yeah, definitely going to be taking this to the UPS store and returning it. I do not recommend you guys buy this. You can hear it even rattling right now, parts of it. If you are going to get one, please go with some of the reputable brands that we had, and I'll post them down in the description. These are Amazon affiliate links, so it may earn me a small commission, but it's really nothing. It's just pennies on the dollar. But I just want you guys to be safe. Definitely don't buy this brand or any other cheap brand knockoff. And remember, if there's a deal online, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So yeah, stay safe out there, guys. If you enjoyed this video or got some educational value, then dive down, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and ring that dive bell. That way you never miss any of our future content. And if you'd like access to all exclusive content, then consider joining the members section for less than a cup of coffee a month, where we'll be diving in and giving you insights on tips like this, dive gear, special locations, live streams, and so much more. Plus, portions of the dues are donated to organizations like the Coral Restoration Foundation that works to rebuild and repair depleted coral reef ecosystems. I'll be back next week with another video, but until then, plan your dive and dive your plan.